To be specific, this government holds that all the people of this country are equally important, whether they belong to a large group or to a small group. To us, the Amerindians are important. To us, the Chinese are important. To us, the Portuguese are important. To us, the Europeans are important. To us, the mixed races are important. To us, the Africans are important. To us, the Indians are important. In short, all Guyanese are important and valued members of our community, and we cherish them and consider that as a government, it is our duty and privilege to guard, protect, and further the real interests of all.
Language is clearly a vital tool that is at the core of human interactions. It is a vehicle for the expression of thoughts, perceptions, sentiments, and cultural values. As you are aware, language is not only a means to communicate thoughts and ideas, but it also builds friendships, cultural ties, and economic relationships. It represents a fundamental expression of social identity. Effective communication is a highly valued skill. How can we improve our communication skills? What technique may we use to communicate effectively, persuasively, and influentially? Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to the Psychology of Everything. In this video, we will discuss how Anaphora can be used to make our communication effective. We will examine how famous public speakers have used Anaphora effectively. An anaphora is a literary or oratorical device involving the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of several sentences or clauses. Songwriters often use anaphoras, and this is why we are able to recall the lyrics of their music easily.
No, we ain't giving up no mountain. No, we ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one for us, not a blade of grass.
An anaphora is used most effectively for emphasis in argumentative prose and sermons and in poetry.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Martin Luther King Jr. was an excellent public speaker. Have you noticed how I emphasize the clause "I have a dream"? The repetition of this clause made the speech memorable. His words had rhythm, cadence, and a great emotional pull.
The government recognizes that its duty is to rule in the interests of all the people of this country. It will dispel the fears of the apprehensive and confound the hopes of those who seek the destruction of this country. To be specific, this government holds that all the people of this country are equally important, whether they belong to a large group or to a small group. To us, the Amerindians are important. To us, the Chinese are important. To us, the Portuguese are important. To us, the Europeans are important. To us, the mixed races are important. To us, the Africans are important. To us, the Indians are important. In short, All Guyanese are important and valued members of our community, and we cherish them and consider that as a government, it is our duty and privilege to guard, protect, and further the real interests of all.
Again, have you noticed how Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham effectively used anaphora in his 1964 inaugural speech? He repeated the words "to us" and "are important" with each ethnic group he mentioned. For example, to us, the Chinese are important. Anaphoras have been widely used in ancient writings including the Bible. For example, a well-known passage in the Old Testament in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8 states,
"There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace."
Stories matter. Many stories matter. Stories have been used to dispossess and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize. Stories can break the dignity of a people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity.
Winston Churchill's "We Shall Fight" speech at the House of Commons on June 4, 1940 is another great example.
"Will defend to the death their native soil, aiding each other like good comrades to the utmost of their strength. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills."